Well, it's a sad day. Time to disembark. So it's been a great trip, and we'll be looking forward to our January cruise.
It's been great. It's been a good week. Very relaxing.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's really good. So, till next time, two old farts signing out. Bye.
Hey everybody, it's Ron and Joanne here.
Hey.
And today we'd like to do our wrap up for the Mexican Riviera cruise that we took over the holidays on the Norwegian Jewel. And we'll touch basis on the room, what we thought of it as far as size of it, accessibility, and the different things we found around the ship as far as for those of us with mobility issues. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay.
So let's talk about getting on the ship. Getting on the ship left from San Diego, and it was a very easy walk across the street.
Yeah, easy breeze.
We were staying at a hotel across the street, so we walked across the street with our luggage and all. And they again, sort of flagged us over with my walker and sent us to where they were doing the check-ins for the people with mobility issues.
Mm-hmm.
Easy breezy, it really was. And then they actually showed us to where they wanted us to sit, so that they had all the people with mobility issues, wheelchairs, walkers.
Yeah.
They had us sit in one section, and which was nice. And then they actually, Norwegian rep actually came over to us to say, okay, everybody, let's get up. You're going to board the ship. So we're like, wow.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like when you were in grade school being on a field trip and the teacher was at the front of the line. You just followed her, and as soon as we got through the doors, you took off. There was clearly marked where the elevators were.
Yeah.
And before you know it, we were on the ship.
That's right.
So that was pretty cool. And at that point, they were still doing musters. All you had to do is check in at your muster station and show them your key card, and they did that. So that was good.
Yeah.
We were in room 8609.
Yep.
Midshippy aft. It was a great location, actually, just off of Oceanans, which is very convenient.
Pretty close to Ocean.
I know we did video of our room to where you could see what the inside of the room looked like. The first thing we noticed, as soon as we first walked in, the steward had our bed pushed way over towards one side.
Oh, yeah, by the wall.
So it was way too close to the little unit where the refrigerator is and some shelving and where the TV was.
Right.
I said, I can't even walk through here now.
Yeah.
So we found that we could move the beds, so we just pushed the beds. But then it made the beds very close to the door. So keep that in mind if you are in an actual wheelchair and you need help getting in and out of your wheelchair. You're not going to be able to get your wheelchair through that door if the bed is that close to the door. Again, I use my walker for the most part only when we're going off on excursions. I don't use my walker once I'm on the ship unless we have to wait in line for something. So just keep that in mind about that room. Otherwise, the room was great.
Yeah.
It was a very good sized room, very comfortable for us, and bathroom was fantastic.
Yeah, bathroom was good. Sink was a little wonky, but
yeah.
Other than that, it was really good.
It was a great room. So the next thing I like to talk to you about is the bathroom situation on any of the ships that we go on. And the Jewel, the three main public decks, I would call them, where a lot of stuff happens, is deck 7, deck 8, and deck 12.
Yep.
13 is where Spinnaker is, and the theater. So let's start with deck 7. Deck 7, the midship bathrooms. Nice big handicap bathroom. They have the regular women's bathroom, and then they also have a separate handicap bathroom for both the men and the women. And that was right. They also had them right outside the Stardust Theater, which was good to find out in case you had to go right after the show. Men's on one side, women's on the other side, so they're not next to each other. They're on opposite ends of the hallway there. Deck 8 only had regular bathrooms. They did have the women's room had 6 stalls in it. One had a wider door, like it was going to be a handicap, but it was not a handicap sized bathroom. So again, I would not be able to take my walker in there. But again, I was on just using my cane, so I was able to go in. So deck 8, I would not say, again, if you're using a walker or a scooter or wheelchair, there's no real handicap bathrooms in the area for deck 8. Deck 12, same thing, bathrooms at the entrance at the Garden Cafe and
just aft of the ship basically.
Yeah, they had handicaps and regular bathrooms, so that was nice. And what we noticed on this ship was that in the Garden Cafe, they had quite a few tables actually had little seat covers over the backs of the chairs marked off for handicap. Designated for handicap. A lot of 2-toppers and 4-toppers.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see. We didn't use those, but it was nice to see. Again, I don't believe the ship was at full capacity. It was probably pretty close.
Pretty close from what they said.
But we never had a problem finding something.
And quite a few people didn't make it because of the weather.
Oh yeah, because of the weather. That's true. Very true.
Yeah.
Another place that we found that had good bathrooms, handicap bathrooms, was on deck 13, right outside of Spinnaker Lounge. So that's good to know. Very close to the entrance. We also visited the pit stop this time.
Yeah,
which was up on deck 13, overlooking the pool.
Wasn't open.
Right, that was a port day, and we chose not to get off, and so
quiet.
they were running drills.
Yeah.
So other than that, it was quiet.
Yeah, it was quiet.
But that's a smoking area, so one side of the pit stop is non-smoking, and the other half on the other side is for smoking. So that's good for you, all you smokers. One of the things that I wanted to touch on, which I found, we ended up in the Bliss Lounge one night.
Yeah.
And we were a little early for a show that we wanted to be there for, and so obviously we found seats very easily, so we got to sit wherever we wanted. And we were only there for a little while. We decided not to stay. But anyways, I had a really hard time getting up out of the seat. Turns out all the seats in there are very low. They don't look real low, but they were very low. So if you have a hard time getting up, or if you're going to be there for an hour and a half for a show, or you're just going to hang out there to watch all the different games and stuff they do in there, keep that in mind. Some of those seats are pretty low. Ron would have had to use both hands to help me get up on that one. But we found that out the hard way.
They did have bar stools, but those were a little high, so.
Nope.
Not much.
Up at the bar, or?
Yeah, they had bar stools, but
yeah,
they weren't comfortable, and they were bar stools, so
yeah,
higher than a normal chair.
And at the theater, the Stardust Theater, most all the Norwegian ships have the 2 levels that you can go in at the theater. Usually the main level is 6 or 7, and then the second level is 7 or 8, depending on what your lower one was at. And we went in on the upper level because they usually have some handicap areas up there. And unfortunately, they weren't marked real well. And so we waited patiently in line. And then when we got up there, it just wasn't going to work for us. So things just to keep in mind. If you want to try to get to these shows, you need to go get in line early.
Views blocked if there's somebody sitting in front of you because the chairs aren't high enough. But
they were almost like
not a
restaurant chairs. Like a chair they pulled
were
out of the restaurant. They weren't actually part of the theater. But that's okay. Live and learn.
Yeah.
And again, this time, this is our very first time we ever did, what's it called? Unassisted walk-off to get off the ship.
Yeah.
And,
Just walk off.
so we didn't have to put our luggage out the night before, which was nice.
Yeah.
It's only a week cruise, so we only had one large bag and one carry-on, so the two of us could handle it. And again, not a lot of direction as to how it was supposed to work.
No,
But Ron
definitely.
found out it was going to go out of deck 6.
Yeah, where we came in.
So we knew we had to go through the casino and all that. So after we got our Starbucks, we went downstairs and we just sat by one of the windows, and
Yeah.
lo and behold, a line started forming. And so we just looked at each other and went, when the line gets to us, we'll stick our luggage there. Why
That's
get
what
up
we did.
now? And that's what we did.
Yeah.
And it was easy doing
Yeah, it
walk-off.
was really easy.
They
And
again,
they started earlier than they had said, right?
yeah, they did. They hadn't even
said it was
announced
supposed to
clearance
be-
yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And the only negative that I would say about it was we didn't think about going through immigration,
oh, yeah.
and that was sort of a mess because it was just like moving cattle through there, and there was no priority line for me with my walker or anything, so you were just in the mix with everybody, and
Yeah.
that was a little bit of a mess, but luckily we were early enough that it wasn't as bad as it would have been getting off the ship
Yeah,
with.
wasn't too bad, but I can
Everybody
imagine
else.
it would be with a lot more people.
Yeah, but I would say that for the most part, the Jewel is a very good ship for someone wheelchair or scooter
Yeah.
or walker bound, because we found no steps to have to worry about anywhere like we did on the Spirit, and clear open pathways. It was great.
Yeah, we like the Jewel class, which is same as the Pearl and the Jade and the Gem. We've been on the Pearl and the Jewel, but that's it. But we really like that class. The size is perfect for our needs, and they have the Deck 12, which is the
Yeah,
Great
the
Outdoors.
Great Outdoors.
On 12 aft, which is really cool.
Yeah,
So,
very
which
nice.
You probably saw in our video.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
if your weather's great, it's a great place to be.
Yeah.
And to hang out. You can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner there if you want. And
Yeah, which we did.
you sit out there and play games. If the weather's nice, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
great deck to just hang out on if you want, and
Yeah.
do as much as you want or as little as you want out there. I would say another negative was the atrium was pretty small,
Yeah, it was.
which was surprising, but
Not
it
as big
worked.
as the Pearl. It's laid out a little different, so kind of limited space.
yeah, and I don't know what it is with Norwegian and their cruise ships, but what's with all the rounded chairs? There's a lot of large framed people that are cruising, and these rounded chairs are like, they're just not comfortable.
Yeah,
But
they are.
whatever, we're not decorators.
Yeah.
So that's about it. I can't think of anything else.
The only thing I can think of is at the port, I had called ahead, way ahead, months ahead, to find out about parking because we stayed at the Spring Hill Suites, there's a Spring Hill Suites and a Residence Inn together right at the port. I mean, like I said, we just walked across the street. Perfect location. We've stayed there before, but we didn't park before. So this time we drove and we wanted to park. So I called the hotel and they said, oh, you have to go through a third-party company for long-term parking. So I did. I went online. They said go online to this Ace Parking, and I put in the address of the hotel and nothing came up. So I checked what the closest one was, which was about almost a mile away from the hotel, and it just, we went ahead and booked it, but it wasn't the best. So when we got to the hotel, one of the Ace parking attendants came up to us and started taking our stuff, and he said, so you're parking here? And we said, well, we're only staying here one night. We're going to be on a cruise, so we have to park. He goes, well, I don't know why you didn't just park here. It's like, we didn't know you could. We weren't really told, and it didn't show up on the website. Well, it may be, I don't know, he gave me some weird excuse, but make a short story boring, we paid for parking at the hotel for the first night, but we were actually able to stay, keep the car at the same location at the hotel in the parking structure, and we actually paid less than what I was paying at the other, and I was able to go in and cancel the parking for 6 of the 7 days that we were there. So it actually turned out pretty good, but it was just a hassle. If you know this ahead of time, it's much better. So if you're thinking about staying at the Spring Hill Suite downtown Bayfront, which is a nice hotel, nice location, just remember that if you're going to do long-term parking, try to find the address of the hotel to book that, and you have to book it through the ACE. So, but other than that, I think we were, after everything we had to pay and stuff, but we were on the road by 9 a.m., right? I think it was.
Yeah.
About 9 a.m.
Yeah, pretty close.
Pretty close to 9 a.m.
Yeah.
We're on the road, so that was pretty easy.
One thing I forgot, so I'm glad you can edit this stuff. The ports on the Mexican Riviera cruise. I did not get off in Cabo, so I can't address, that's a tender. I'm not real good about taking a tender. I'm very nervous about taking a tender, especially with my walker, so I opted to not get off the ship. But I can say Puerto Vallarta, easy breezy, just walking off the ramp of the Jewel, and if I remember correctly, one of the people from Norwegian walked in front and kind of held my walker to help me down. But then it was flat walking, so you didn't need any other assistance. And where else did we get off? Ensenada. Same thing. It was easy. The ports were easy. You don't have a lot of ramps to walk up or down or sideways, or and the buses that we took all had storage for the walkers, so that was good. The only thing I can say is they didn't do like the first port we got off of, Puerto Vallarta. The guy took my walker up and sat it there by the side of the bus, but I always wait and let everybody get off the bus first because I don't want to hold anybody up. And man, I don't know if you noticed, but I was practically running to try to catch up to our crowd because they were like a block away, and like, where? And they had turned. Anyways, easy breezy getting off in the ports. So Mexican Riviera, easy cruise for those of us with limited mobility. So,
and the tenders in Cabo, they use a port tender. We did see some
and ships,
ship tenders, but I went to shore and came back and was on the port tenders, which they're a little nicer than the ship's tenders, but they are a little hard to maneuver. Once you get on, you usually go down down a bit, a couple steps, and it's kind of narrow, and I'm not sure what they would do with the walker either, but other than that, it wasn't bad. And then the port, we've been there before, but it's been a long time, and it's really nice now. When you get off, nice big area to walk off and then go into town. So it was a good trip.
All right.
Whoops,
So that's our wrap up
Yeah.
for this cruise, and we hope you enjoyed them. And don't forget to subscribe and like, and woohoo! We got to hit 100.
And if you have any comments or questions about any of the videos, please feel free to comment. We try to get answer back as quickly as we see them. So
Yes, by all means.
But
And
yeah,
our
any
next
questions?
cruise is coming up
Yeah.
29th, the big vlogger
Vlogger
extravaganza. So we're really excited about that, about meeting some of the people. And
that'll be on the NCL Breakaway. So we haven't been on that ship. We've been on its sister ship, the Getaway. But and we weren't in a. Oh, we were in a.
that was our first.
handicap.
That was our first handicap room. We're in a handicap room for this one, but I'm a little nervous because we didn't get to go through our regular Norwegian travel
Oh yeah,
guide.
we went through the.
And we we are up on the 12th floor,
Yeah.
but we are on the front. So
Yeah.
pray for us that we do not have
Don't want to do all
rocky
this.
waters. My patches better work.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for now. Until next time.
All right. See ya.